Does shaving irritate your skin, give you nick, bumps, razor burn? You probably blamed your razor all these years, and you thought upgrading the razor all these years with the latest gimmicks and technology would make your problems go away. Upgrading your razor usually costs more money and made you feel ripped off, and your face still hurt. You know what you need? Cremo. Cremo. Shaving gels and foams are mostly air. Air is not a lubricant. This can cause irritation and discomfort. Cremo is an impossibly slick, foam-free shave. Comes in a tube, not a can. Almost any razor will glide effortlessly and comfortably over your sensitive skin with virtually no bumps, burn, or irritation. Don't waste any more money. Get yourself some Cremo at Walmart, Target, Walgreens, CVS, Pharmacy, Red Cap, White Tube, Cremo!
A few days ago, Brooke Tudine posted an inspirational quote on her wall that got 17 likes and 3 comments. Thumbs up, Brooke. Geico also wants to make a comment. In just 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance by switching to Geico. And nothing says inspiration better than saving money. Well, except for those posters that say things like teamwork, excellence, and make it happen. Hashtag keep climbing. Hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
All right, we're rolling.
Yeah, this is Mohr Stories. That's right. And Dean Delray, the rocker. Light the candles of rock! All right!
Light the candles of rock!
Dean Delray and I are in San Francisco doing Cobb's Comedy Club. By the time you listen to this, there will be many, many people that have already seen our stand-up comedy in the city by the bay, and they're taking those good vibes, that energy with them, and it's just like a campsite fire, and the embers are burning still. However, you can see Dean at the Comedy Store all the time. He's my guest on Mohr Stories. We are actually on a rooftop in San Francisco. There's that's the Bay Bridge right there.
That's the Bay Bridge. That's the new Bay Bridge. You see the tip out there behind Treasure Island?
That's the new Bay Bridge.
That's the new part there.
You ain't even down.
Yeah, and then the old parts there that
I love when you come over the Bay Bridge. There's that weird little Coast Guard station right at the bottom.
Yeah.
I was like, that's probably
where you
best.
pay.
That's the best. No, it's after. It's at the end of the other side. I say to my wife every time, that's probably the actual best job on earth. To be in the Coast Guard, because you know how to like either fly a helicopter or rappel out of a helicopter, and you could swim to like Catalina and back. It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer, man! Ow! And you're stationed in San Francisco. But great job all weekend long on the shows, Dino.
Thank you.
You're no opener. I love it. I love going on stage after a guy that gets like a crazy round of applause. Your applause on stage is so big that you have to actually, usually, all right, for the listener, usually an opening act will go, hey, that's my time, thanks a lot, and everybody claps, and the guy will go, all right, you guys ready for your headliner? You've seen him, and you actually have to go, all right, that's my time, thanks a lot, and they go crazy. You have to wait for that to end, and you say, are you guys ready for the guy you're here? Like, you have to wait for that applause to stop, because it's not my applause. Yeah, that's what I love, is like, you're getting your own separate thing.
You got to look at it this way, though. The way I look at it is, without your crowd or the headliners that I open for that have an incredible crowd, without that, it doesn't matter, right? Like, your crowd is fantastic. They like music, because you talk a lot of music, and they hear me on the radio and stuff, so they kind of know who I am, so it's cool, right?
Yeah, but your act, when you're just doing the Comedy Store, I'm sure you do, when there's a lineup of 8 people at the Comedy Store, I'm guessing you probably kill the hardest.
No way.
Really?
Dude, you know who goes on?
No.
Oh, my God, dude. You have
I don't leave my... You know me, man.
I know. You don't get
You
that.
can't believe I'm here now.
I know, right? I can't believe, yeah. First of all,
I am like
let's describe...
Greta Garbo. I never leave my home.
I know, it's crazy because I
I'm a recluse.
said, you got to get over to my room. It has a view that'll fucking knock you out, man. This is panoramic views. And you almost didn't make it. And now you're here and you're like, holy shit, this is great.
Let's just do it in the green room after the shows, man. You know, the energy will still be there from the live shows. And Dean Delray was like, no, you don't understand. And I'll tweet out a photo of this so you guys can enjoy what the hell we're looking at. It's insane. But the reason when we first hooked up, it was because you had done 2,000 shows in 4 years, thereabouts.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, has your workload less? Because I've known you 2 years now.
Yeah.
Has your workload lessened? Because now you're opening for that's a trolley car you hear in the background.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Legit, man. That's legit.
Trolley car.
To beware little trolley cars.
I love those things.
Halfway through the stars.
Aren't those cars cool, man?
I love them.
They're old, and they work still.
Has your workload lessened? Because now, people that don't know, at Dean Delray on Twitter, you also open for Bill Burr and Russell Peters regularly. You know, there's an old expression, I say it on the podcast all the time on Mohr Stories. Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. And if you're rolling with Bill Burr and Russell Peters, apparently you're legit, bro.
Yeah, and you?
Well, I would sound like a douche if I'm like, look, man, you're hanging out with me. First of all, you're hanging out with me.
My workload has not lessened. Here's the thing. So the first year, I did 298 or something. Second year was like 536. The third year,
only 365 days.
I know.
Year.
Third year is like 558. Fourth year, 532 something, and then this last year is 482. I'm trying to hit 500 every year. I'm already at 89 for this year.
Oh wow, we're recording this March 15th, 14th.
March 14th. My mom's birthday tomorrow. I love you. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Delray. You raised a hell of a son.
Yeah.
Now, your comedy, you used to always close with Nuts to Butts.
Yep.
And it was a big rock and roll number, and people go crazy, and you do an actual Rose voice, and it's great. And what I love, you've been opening with me long enough that over the last year, I've seen all of a sudden one night Nuts to Butts comes in at the 10-minute mark, and I'm like, whoa! Now I got to watch and see what he closes. How's he going to top that?
Yeah.
And don't you think as a comic that's the most liberating, scary, but also freeing thing when you can take your closing bit and reshuffle the deck and just go, no, fuck that. 8 minutes in, I'm doing my closer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you better build a real good pair of wings to land this airplane, dude.
Well, I wanted to do the Louis C.K. thing where he said I open with my closer. You know, he decided to do that at one point to where it was like, all right, now what do you got, bitch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So about 2 months ago, I headlined at the La Jolla Comedy Store a whole weekend, and I go, you know what? I'm going to open with Nuts to Butts. And it was actually scary as shit because you have these parachutes as a new comedian that okay, this stuff in the middle might not be as strong as Nuts to Butts, but I know when I close with Nuts to Butts, they'll remember that. But instead I was like, nah, I gotta fucking take it on, right?
Yeah, I guess for me, the translation would be the walk-in. If I just don't do walk-in, I know I'm going to get a crazy response. I do an hour and a half sometimes. And when you get to about the 40, 45-minute mark, the crowd kind of starts going, is he going to get out of here without doing walk-in? I can feel them kind of get uptight. And sometimes I don't do any impressions. I just bounce. But when I walk out and I do walk-in, in the first 10 minutes, it's exactly what you said, that Louis said. It's all right, now start weaving. Where's your basket?
Yeah.
What can you do?
Right?
And, by the way, if you want to help the podcast, Mohr Stories, and Dean has a great podcast at Dean Delray. It's
Let There Be Talk.
Let There Be Talk. And I was on it, and we had a great time. It's funny, because every time I'm on your podcast, we talk about stand-up comedy, and every time you're on my podcast, we talk about rock and roll. But if you want to help more stories, the absolute best way you could help more stories is to use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. And my website's pretty good. Like, there's a lot of content. You can watch a lot of clips from my Showtime specials. You can listen to this right now. But if there's an Amazon banner, instead of going to Amazon, basically, I'll make it quick. It's easy. Amazon just wants to know you got there through my website. So you go to jmohr.com, click the Amazon banner, and if you email me what you bought, I will read it on the podcast. I don't have a computer with me because I'm on a rooftop garden with my friend Dean Delray. We seem very fancy. But, yeah, like, I always close with Walkin' because I know, A, it's going to, like, you know, when you listen to music on an equalizer or something, like when the red and yellow, green lights, like, shoot up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like on those old stereos.
Yeah, the graphic EQs.
Like, I know I'm going to get that red if I close with Walkin'. So I know that. I got that in my holster. And I always explain comedy to people. They go like, do you know what you're going to do? And I know what I'm going to do because I know what I have in my head. It was about 4 hours of stand-up. And it's like being a giant switchboard operator. There's old switchboards where they plug in the calls. Yeah. And I know my last row is Tracy Morgan, Christopher Walken, Al Pacino, Clint Eastwood, and I know I have that.
Yeah.
As my, no matter if all else fails, I just plug in those phone calls and I'm fucking good. And they're like, that was a good show.
Yeah.
So I like to do what you just said and do it. But you, like, talk about the fact that you're doing this bit, and I hate to walk you into bits like Z Morning Radio, but it is such a great bit about fuck faces.
Yeah. Fuck sounds.
Fuck sounds?
Yeah.
Fuck faces, I guess are all the same. It's a Brian May guitar solo. We all make the same.
It's a John Mayer.
Your body's a wonderland.
Yeah, fuck sounds. I just came up with that about 2 weeks ago. And it's amazing. And I'm only 5 years in, so I don't sit here and act like I know what I'm doing, but they always say you're going to start to find your voice about 10 years in or whatever. But what I'm starting to realize now is I have stories in my life that are fucking funny to me. And if I can tell them to you and you understand, if I can tell them in the right way to where it's like comedy instead of just telling you, then I've got gold. So I started trying to do these stories, and one of them is fuck sounds. And it's hilarious because
that was almost what the Beach Boys named Pet Sounds. It was like they had to go to a vote.
Yeah. No, the record company banned it. They're like, no fuck sounds.
They're all like, all right, so we're all good with fuck sounds, all 9 of us? Yeah. And even John Stamos on drums was like, I like fuck sounds, honestly. And the record company said, guys, can't.
You can't do fuck sounds.
All right, Pet Sounds, whatevs.
Pet Sounds is the same, right, with some people.
Overrated album.
Oh, yeah. I don't go Beach Boys.
I hate Pet Sounds. And I bought Pet Sounds. I'm going to get right back into the bit. But I bought Pet Sounds because everyone told me it's their answer to Sgt. Pepper's. Well, then you know what? Then they're fucked. Because Sgt. Pepper's is awesome and Pet Sounds is fucking garbage.
Pet Sounds came out first, right? And then they...
You know what? Public Enemy... Sorry. Yeah. Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
One of the
That's
greatest.
hip-hop, or Paul's Boutique. That's hip-hop's answer to Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah.
You know
You're right, man. That Fear of the Black Planet, I recently got it on vinyl, an original copy. It's one of my favorite records ever made. It's incredible how it's a seamless record with the radio stuff and the sounds, and there's no stop in the record.
They mix in all those radio interviews.
It's incredible, right?
I saw these guys on in concert, and they were gentlemen in Uzis.
Yeah.
And frankly, if I see somebody wearing one of their shirts, I think they're scum too.
Yeah. Burn, Hollywood, burn. Man, I can smell a riot going on.
Big Daddy Kane and Ice Cube. Chuck D has... Everybody always goes like, who are your greatest MCs of all time? Chuck D never makes that top 3. But when Chuck D... Welcome to the Terror Dome.
Oh.
Like, you knew, like, there is some anger out there in the black community that I'm unaware of.
I love that. I love that movie. I love Spike Lee, and I love Chuck D. It's amazing because I watched the Chris Rock film, which was Top 5, and it was... an hour and 20 minutes in before someone said Chuck D. Each time I was in the theater going, are you kidding me? Chuck D, you're in New York? No one's saying Chuck D? Are you out of your mind? The guy is a king.
I was backstage at Bill Maher, the old, not the new one on HBO, the old one that he used to do on ABC, Politically Incorrect. Mm-hmm. And Chuck D was a guest. They would do like 3 shows in a row. And yes, we're circling back to Fuck Sounds, the Beach Boys album. And Chuck D was talking to Al Sharpton, and they were talking about something that went through the councilman or senate in New York to raise money for inner city schools had fallen through. And they didn't bring it up on the show, but I was sitting right there, and those two were on a couch. And, you know, I don't give a shit about Al Sharpton, but Chuck D, oddly, the hip-hop artist, is the guy where I'm like, well, what does he have to, I don't give a shit what Al Sharpton has to say. He's an idiot. And then Chuck D goes, we could raise money. We could box. You want to box? Let's just close off 145th Street. We'll box. Yeah. Hey, $5. Watch us box. I'll fight. Let's box. Let's just box. And that was him actually saying to, like, Reverend Al Sharpton, like, everybody wants to come to 145th and Park to watch us just box. Like Chuck D at 45 was like, let's just fight. We're going to raise money. Let's just box.
I feel like he's underrated, man. You know, people talk about Kanye and Jay-Z, but I look at those guys more as businessmen than I do. Like, Chuck D to me is like the Clash. He's from the streets. It was early on. It was this new, it's not completely new because, of course, you go back before it. You know, you got like Rapper's Delight, and you got all the early hip hop.
That was good time stuff. That was dance. That was party music.
Right.
Chuck D was the East Coast. That was the Mecca, Queensbridge, Bronx. You can argue all you want where it started. Oh, you know what? How about this? Chuck D is the only reason you bought a Pirates hat.
Absolutely. I owned a Pirates hat, and it was that square version.
Yeah, dude.
The square version, the early one, Remember when those hats were square? What was that, man?
That's the old Willie Stargell, Dave Parker one.
Yeah, the square hat.
And their theme, the 1980 Pirates World Series.
Was so awesome.
Their theme song was "We Are Family" by Sister Sledge.
Oh, We Are Family. Which, by the way, I saw them at Disneyland when I was a kid.
Sister Sledge?
Yeah, they came out in that center stage. I got all my sisters.
I saw the Pittsburgh Pirates at Disneyland. They came out of a center stage.
Oh, my God.
What's your fuck? Dude, tell us about Fuck Sounds.
Okay.
Because this makes me laugh every night.
Fuck Sounds goes back.
Hashtag this.
Yeah. Fuck Sounds goes back to an early girlfriend I had. It's a 2-part story, and it's amazing because I was just sitting one day about a month ago in La Jolla getting writing some stuff in a Starbucks, and then I heard this person in line go, "Oh, that feels killer." And it hit me. I go, God, I used to have a chick that said that when we would have sex. She would go, "Feels killer." And it was disgusting. And it was like, at the time, it was the only girl I had, so I had to put up with it.
Do it again.
Feels killer. She's from Ohio.
So you're inside this woman just smashing.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
And then her response is?
It would just come out like out of nowhere. She wouldn't say anything, and then she'd go, "Feels killer."
Hashtag feels killer.
And I was like, gross.
Hashtag feel. Don't hashtag Fuck Sounds.
Yeah.
Because we get retweeted to our parents.
Yeah. Feels killer.
Hashtag feels killer.
Yeah. So I want to know where other people
on stage.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh so hard.
It's a new joke, which is great.
Oh.
But my point is that's brand new.
You'll even ask the audience.
So I asked the audience, and it's really funny because people get uncomfortable. I'll do the joke, and then I'll look at someone and go, "What's your fuck sounds?" And sometimes they'll say stuff, you know? They'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm kind of a moaner," or "I'm a groaner," or whatever. They get into it. It's funny because it's so absurd. They know it's...
You said on stage last night, you asked a guy once in the audience what her fuck sound is. You pointed to it.
What his wife's fuck sounds were.
Oh, what is yours?
You know, I don't know. It's just more like a, you know.
Guys just have fuck ramblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of hard breathing.
I say good girl a lot.
Good girl?
Good girl.
Good girl?
Oh, yeah. Good girl. You want to know what my wife's fuck sound is?
Yeah.
Doesn't really have one because her thumb's in her mouth.
Oh, gross.
Gross.
That's hot.
Hey, listen to these commercials. Spring training is underway. That can only mean one thing. Baseball season is almost here. There's never been a better time to check out DraftKings.com, America's favorite daily fantasy baseball site where you can win huge cash prizes every day. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. You can change your roster every dang day if you feel about it. Oh, yeah, instant cash, instant gratification. New season every time you play. Pick 2 pitchers and 8 position players, and you're up and running. DraftKings has already crowned over a dozen millionaires. Hundreds of thousands of fantasy sports fans just like you have finally gotten their act together and gone to DraftKings.com. Cash in at DraftKings.com. It's your turn now. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use a promo code MOHR to play for free in the $100,000 fantasy baseball contest on opening day. First place takes home $10,000. Use promo code MOHR, MOHR, for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. I'm excited about DraftKings.com. I want my money.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Hey, I use Tricom. My name is Jay Mohr, and it's true. A recent study shows that Tricom 5 times more effective at reducing itch than 1% hydrocortisone, which is a topical steroid. You can't be rubbing steroids on your body. You got to get the Tricom. Hey, listen, steroid-free. Products containing steroids like hydrocortisone can thin the skin and can only be used sparingly. Use Tricom to relieve winter itches, which get worse during the colder, drier months. I put them on my bug bites, and it works. The bugs think I'm delicious, and guess what? Tricom on those bug bites, and they don't itch, and I can fall asleep. Tricom relieves minor itching, stinging, burning, year-round. Tricom works almost immediately. The relief lasts. Tricom is backed by the itch-free guarantee. If a user, like you, is unsatisfied, you can mail back the empty tube. Empty tube. Use all of it. They'll give you a full refund. Tricom.
Feels killer. It's fucking funny, right?
Feels killer is amazing.
You know what really feels killer is when the people are laughing their heads off on a brand new bit like that. I'm like, oh, so I start with nuts to butts in La Jolla, and I roll the dice and close with that, and it ignites, and I go, oh, thank God. You can't headline and close with something brand new. No one's going to laugh. I did it anyway.
This is what I love about your stand-up comedy is, first of all, you made the transition into, like, bits to, well, you've always talked about yourself, honestly. And I think comedy, the best comedy, is when you're talking about, like, no, this actually happened. And I hate when comics are like, you know, I was on a Southwest jet yesterday. It's like, no, bro, you weren't, because I saw you a month ago telling this bit.
Yeah.
Just say, like, have you guys, did you, just tell us, like, I once flew... Southwest.
I was once on an airline.
And, like, my favorite comics, and there's different, like, Orny Adams was like, oh, no, all I do in my hotel room, and this really took me aback when he was on the podcast. He said, like, he sits in his hotel room all day, like gearing up, like, to be shot out of the cannon when they introduce him. And I looked at him, I'm like, really? And he said, but to his defense, he goes, this is all I have.
Yeah.
I just obsess and obsess and obsess. And maybe he's obsessive anyway. But I think you're more like me. Like, if we were napping and somebody said, wake up, I need you to do 20 minutes at the Beacon now. Right behind this door is 1,500 people. We would just go, all right, and walk on stage. And probably the first thing we would say is, somebody just woke me up.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like, you would just do what happened.
Absolutely. I do relate with Orny with this is all I have, but I don't sit in my room all day and get ready for it. I know at 8 o'clock I'm going on, and I wish I was going on at 7, 8, 12, and 1, but, you know, I deal with that when I get there. And
that'll change when you're doing an hour.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I did do...
You're like, can't we just knock out the back wall and combine the 2 shows into one big fuck fest? I'll do 2 hours.
It's funny you said that.
Killer!
Because I headlined a couple weeks ago at the La Jolla 4 shows, and it was 4 1 hours.
So like 2 Friday, 2 Saturday.
Yeah, and Sunday, I was done. I got home, I was like, see you later. Went to bed, man.
You know what George Carlin said? It was so easy for me to do my old act because there was so little of me in it.
Wow.
Because he was doing Hippy Dippy Weatherman.
Yeah.
He was doing like bits. He was doing the sergeant in the army, the chief, the Indian chief.
Yep.
But when you're up there, I don't know why talking about yourself. Why is talking about yourself for an hour so tiring? Look, I'm not complaining. I know, and by the way, I can complain whenever the fuck I want. People, I work in fucking telemarketing. Why don't you take my job? No, I live my life in a way where I don't have to do your job.
Yeah, right.
I decided to go out on the tightrope. Why don't you follow us out on the tightrope? You can leave that job whenever you want. I'm trying to encourage you, listeners.
I just tweeted something today. I said, most Americans hate their job. So really, the zombies are already here.
That's a great tweet. Did you get a lot of retweets?
I did. It touched, it touched. Go do something you want to do, man.
Even if it's go for a walk.
Anything.
And turn off those overhead fluorescent lights because they will kill you.
Yeah, they are. They're soul stealers.
When I was on Saturday Night Live, it was pitch black and everybody just had a lamp on their desk. And I was like, this is kind of weird. And then a bunch of people pulled me aside and they're like, no, these are like, they actually, it's proven scientifically, those overhead fluorescents in offices, they just drain your body.
Oh, I believe it. Soul stealers.
But what is it about what Carlin said? It was so easy to do my old act because there was so little of me in it. And when I think back to, 15 years ago when I was headlining and I was just like fucking the stool.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, like doing just stupid shit. Like I could go, like I do 3 shows. I do 2 shows Wednesday, 2 shows Thursday, whatever. I didn't care. But I don't know what it is about. Is it the honesty that's tiring? Is it because you're on stage telling the truth? Is that what's exhausting?
I think I care so much that my brain is like it's hypersensitive of like, it's gearing around inside my head like, okay, I'm going to throw this out. Oh, and stuff starts coming out like your brain is really working like in an organic way.
Yeah.
Like I've got the bit fuck sounds, but I go all over on it. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden I started talking about a roommate I had who his lady would scream when she got fucked. And I had seen his dick before. It's not that big. So those screams aren't warranted to his side. You know what I mean? So now I'm just riffing and everything, and it becomes like a ride through your life. I really do think I'm traveling through. I mean, that's probably why I haven't touched on some of my stepdads and weird upbringing, because I'll get there one day and open that can of worms.
What's the wait? Why postpone joy?
I'm just getting there now. I'm starting to feel.
Tonight.
I could tell.
Do a little tonight.
Well,
I'm throwing it down right now.
I will.
I was thinking of this as you were talking too, but I was listening. When you're telling a story that happened to you, like the story about the drive to my Showtime special.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught any of that. I shit my pants on the way to actually film it. I had to go in the ocean and I got ragdolled.
And the ocean was angry.
I have to tell that story on stage, but the details are so specific.
Yep.
But I also don't know if this translates to 400 strangers in each time you tell it, because it's a weird thing that happened to me. No one knows what it's like to drive to a Showtime special.
Yep.
No one's in show business. Nobody knows in most of the country what it's like to jump into the Pacific Ocean. That's foreign. Like, wait, you just pull over and you go in the ocean because you got shit on your legs?
Yeah, we're not in Milwaukee.
Nobody knows what it's like when you go, the ocean that day was, how do I put it, angry. Nobody knows what it feels like to get ragdolled by the ocean.
Yeah.
So, like, there's all these things. So when I'm telling the story, I think I'm working with you to try to answer the question of why being that honest about ourselves is more tiring than when you write a joke. Hey, I had sex with a girl that stutters, and I don't know if she was going to have an orgasm or she was just trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a joke.
Just, those are scientific.
I could literally say that as I'm going through my pockets. I don't, and they would still hear it, and I would still get the response. But, like, I have to really explain, and it's the details that make the story, and they're the real things that happen. What I was wearing, the suit jacket, and this, and the Cole Haan shoes, and I fold them up on the beach, and I go in, and it's this whole. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if you fuck up one chink in the armor, the whole story fall like you're
It's true. Then they don't believe you.
And you fucked up the whole thing because they're going to go, wait a minute, why didn't he just do X, Y, or Z? Like, you have to really, so you have to remember exactly how it happened, paint the picture, realize most of the country listening that you're doing it in front of, like, if you're in Cincinnati, wait, you can pull over and jump in an ocean?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Were you on vacation? No. I live on the west side of it. I just leave my house and I go up PCH, and that's how I roll. And also, like, when you're doing stuff about your wife and your kids, like, they don't have kids. Maybe they don't have kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it's existential.
You know what
I'm working through it right now.
You know what you're describing right now to me? And it's amazing. What you're describing is exactly what goes through every man's mind at one point when they see us on stage. They go, I've got some funny stories. I'm funny at work. People say I'm funny. I tell stories at parties. And the transition is being able to be funny on stage with those stories to strangers compared to the people that know you at the party, and they know your character. They've known you since high school. So they know that's funny because they know you're an idiot in that way or
Here
whatever.
Comes Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Exactly.
So Phil's killer. But he fucked a girl and she screamed out Phil's killer.
Yeah. And then, so what I'm saying is that's when you become a comedian, because you have the balls of going, I'm funny at work. You go do it, you eat a dick, and then you figure out how to make your personal stories work with strangers.
Yeah. And also the big thing, and Dean and I are two guys that encourage all of you that think you're funny. Go bloody well do it.
Absolutely.
Find an open mic. Go get a Marie Callender's on a Tuesday night.
Anything.
People waiting in line at the movie. Go work that line.
Fucking chase that dream, man.
Dean and I have, people have been in line for films, and Dean and I have both worked that actual line.
Absolutely.
For free.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, and by the way, I'm across the street when you guys get out of the movie. You've been there.
Yeah.
But the thing, too, is the performance, the projection. That's the thing. Like, this room, Cobb's, is a very big room. Like, Comedy Works, it's 400 plus.
And it's a hard room.
It's a very high. It is. You know what? My wife says all the time, like, ceilings are too high. So there's weird things that an audience member would never think come into play.
Absolutely.
But when you got a big room, and they're just chairs on a floor. It's not like a theater. Like, Comedy Works is 480, 500.
It's different.
But it's kind of like a theater.
Yeah.
With a balcony. And you go, and everyone's very much a unit, and they're kind of smushed in.
Yeah, they're really smushed in.
But comfortable.
Yeah,
The chairs are like theater chairs.
This one's like really kind of
It's kind of like you're at a VFW hall, and there's an upstairs.
That's what it's like.
And it's huge.
It's huge.
And Thursday night, the thing for me is, and not to get hippy-dippy, but like that collective consciousness, all of us being like one thing. Can you, yeah, you can go out and you can do great doing stand-up, and people go, that was a really good show. But can you throw your net into the sea? If there's 414 people in the room, can you throw your net out there the moment you hit stage, and for an hour and 10 minutes, never have one fish leave that net?
Yeah.
Never have one go like, I don't even, like, wait, what? Or like, so then start talking.
Yeah.
And then we were going to go, and then we decided to do something else, and have somebody next to them shushes. For an hour, can you, when you go, I love you guys, thank you so much, and then you take that net off stage, is everyone accounted for? Like a head count in jail.
Yeah.
That's what it's like to me, because Thursday, I walked off stage. There was about 400. We sold out. It was about 400 people, 400 and change. But I'll be the first to admit, I walked off stage with about 125 fish. I didn't have that fucking room. That room was never a group.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was weird. I'll tell you what. I want to shoot my special at the Fillmore, and I keep thinking, like, am I an idiot? Because this town is the hardest town to do comedy in, because you got a lot. I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up right here. And you got a lot of fucking PC people here now. So what you have is you got a lot of money, and it almost feels like they feel guilty. So they don't laugh at anything that's edgy. Like when I say, I saw a guy today missing an eye. No patch, no glass. I was looking right in his fucking head. You know how scary that is? When I do that, no one's laughing. And I'm like, you're not laughing?
Why don't they laugh?
Because
I didn't notice. I'm upstairs then.
Yeah, because they're not laughing until I do the punchline. But usually when I say no patch, no glass, people are already laughing. Like, that's absurd. I'm looking right in your skull. And they're laughing already. But these guys are like, well, yeah, I did see that guy myself today, And it's like they start analyzing it too much. I'm totally into all kinds of rights, gay rights. I hate racism, everything like that. But I also hate PC people who laugh on behind, you know what I mean? It's like we're all here.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir because I'm on radio now, Mohr Sports, Fox Sports Radio, and I realize at any moment corporate can come downstairs and go, we're going to have to let you go because you said X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Because the line keeps moving.
Exactly.
Like Don Imus said nappy-headed hose.
Yeah.
He got fired.
Yeah.
He was talking about 6'4", 250-pound black women that played basketball at the University of Rutgers. Rutgers University. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think Don Imus and his friends had ever said that expression to each other ever in their lives? Where did Don Imus hear nappy-headed hose?
I have no idea.
A black person.
Right.
There's no way Don Imus is on his ranch in New Mexico helping dying cancer-stricken children. Oh, yeah. They left that part out of the news story.
Yeah.
That hundreds of children are on the Don Imus ranch getting the treatment they need. He's not going and having like a dinner with a bunch of white people and another rich radio syndicated weird white guy like Glenn Beck's like, I don't know if you've seen the nappy-headed hose that play basketball. Right. And then Don goes, that's hilarious. I'm going to use it because it's racist. He probably heard it on, like, fucking different world.
Yeah, but the problem with him
Jasmine Guy was like, first of all, these nappy-headed hoes.
Yeah.
And then they just apply.
But he is fucking smart enough to know he should have never said that.
I think there's a disconnect of a man that's that rich, that's white, and I don't mean any of this as a negative. It's just the way it is. And that's why I'm glad I go out on the road all the time because you're amongst the folks. People that goddamn work for a living. You play a theater, it's filled with mailmen.
Yeah.
But when you're on Fox News and every day from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. you're on Fox News, and then a town car takes you back to Connecticut, and then all you have are assistants going, this is what you're going to do tomorrow at your job.
Yeah.
When the town car takes you back to that nice studio in Manhattan, you don't know that that's a thing.
It's so
Nappy means nothing to him.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. Nappy-headed hose.
Yeah.
And he got fired, which I don't think he should have gotten fired.
But he'd been in trouble before, right?
Look, but
that's what I'm saying.
Don't we want them to be?
Well, listen.
Don't you want to be the guy? If you have a job on radio or television, don't you? Patrice O'Neill, rest in peace. I miss you, brother. Had the greatest line ever. I'm a comedian. It's like monkey bars as a kid.
Yeah.
I might reach for the next monkey bar, and it might be completely inappropriate when I grab it, but you may not keep me from reaching towards that next bar.
Right.
And that's what you're doing when you're on stage. And I'm like, on the radio, I'm doing like 1940s announcer, and we play 40s music, and I'm like, come on out to the ballpark and see a real live Korean man. Real live Korean. Like, I could, like, Dan Patrick couldn't say, like Shin Soo Choo plays for whoever, like, when you go out to the ballpark and you see yourself a real live Korean man, like, you get fired.
Yeah.
But, like, I've learned to dress it up in, like, bits. And I'm like, well, I didn't say it. It's this crazy character as this 1940s lunatic, and that is what he. Don't let women vote. Buy wall bonds. Smoke Lucky cigarettes.
Yeah.
So like, I dress all my stuff when I'm redlining and pushing the envelope and going close to the line. It's a bit. Like if I'm doing gay jokes, I'm doing it as alternative lifestyle droopy dog.
Oh boy, I'd like to be on the other end of that hot dog.
And then so it's almost, I've tabled it in a way where when corporate comes to me, I can say, you're actually, what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's an impression of a cartoon. And they go, well, he's gay. No, it's alternative lifestyle. Nobody said gay.
Yeah.
So like, you got to really figure it out how you're going to walk that. Russell Brand put it best. I think the problem is the line. they don't tell you you're over the line until you've already passed over it.
Yeah.
I think we do away with the line entirely. It seems like the line is getting everybody fired.
Well, I think that if you're in the news, I understand what the fuck they're talking about. For me, though,
but you said he should have been fired.
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I do. You know why? Because of the format that he's in.
But it was a
Listen,
light. They were trying to be light and funny.
I understand.
And what the problem is, Imus trying to be funny about women's basketball. Like,
yeah.
Funny sports, women's basketball. That's like bink no.
You're right.
Like just let somebody else take the baton and run with that.
Well, my thing is, I think that he'd been in trouble before, and that's just stupid. You got to know, you don't want to say nappy-headed hoe.
I don't think he knew what it meant.
No, I understand that, but
There's no way he knew.
Right.
Like, how could he? How could he? Opie and Anthony. Those guys, here come the cops. Here we're getting busted up. Yeah. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop.
Let me tell you something. This neighborhood we're in, you know what that really means? It means he's just trying to get a parking spot. Because there ain't
it's called Knob Hill. I thought he was trying to get a cock.
There ain't no...
Knob Hill. Opie and Anthony have been fired a lot.
Yeah.
And suspended a lot.
The one guy's gone now, right?
Anthony does his own podcast. He was on More Stories, and it's a hilarious episode because it winds up with me and him doing dueling dices at the end. So go back in the archives and get that. Unlock those old episodes. More Stories is a free app. You should have it on your phone now. And tell all your friends to do it too. But one of the times they got fired, but they had a contest called Sex for Sam Adams beer.
Right.
Right? And what you got to call us having sex in the weirdest place. And a couple called from St. Patrick's Cathedral. They're in St. Pat. Look, I'm a Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian. I love Christ. I'm with the blood of... Like, you're looking at a guy who wakes up every morning and is appreciative that Christ died for my sin. Like this.
Yeah, you're a religious guy?
Oh, I'm real. I converted to Catholicism.
Wow.
Like, it's fresh, too.
Wow.
Like, I am all about it. But you know what?
What?
They weren't there. Somebody called from... They didn't say, first person to go to St. Patrick's Cathedral and fucking a pew.
They just said anywhere.
They were in a studio on 57th and Broadway. Somebody calls up and they get fucking fired. Well, Sam Adams, your sponsor...
Yeah.
Corporate went, great. Like, you don't just go, hey, we're having a contest, Sex for Sam. The corporate comes down, the salesman comes down and goes, here's a contest. What do you guys think about this? You sign off on it. They promote it. Sam Adams, it goes through like a chain of emails, and they're like, Sex for Sam. This is going to be wild, you guys. Yeah. And then they get fucking stabbed in the dick by corporate. And the other time was they had a homeless guy in studio, and they would always feed these guys.
Yeah.
They'd do homeless shopping. They would get like a dozen homeless people and set them loose in the malls at Short Hill.
Yeah.
Like the fanciest, whitest, cocksucker, corporate motherfucker. Fucking keep your money in your pocket, shithead, like the worst white people on earth you can think of mall.
Yeah.
And they would just take like 20 homeless people, give them like $500 each and say, go.
Wow.
And there's nothing anybody... They're fucking human beings. What are you going to do? Kick them out? They got money. They're I want to buy guilty Gucci black cologne. And one time a homeless guy was in studio on Opie and Anthony, and he said about Condoleezza Rice, he goes, I'll hold her down and rape her. I'll fucking rape. They got fucking suspended for 6 months. They didn't say it.
Yeah. Well... That's a different format, too.
And by the way, it's satellite radio, which in its inception we all signed up like, whoop, unshackled.
Uncensored.
Yeah, uncensored and unshackled from the burden of the man. No.
Yeah.
You know what? Everything, and Greg Proops says it all the time on his podcast, it's just a matter of time before the FCC figures out how much fucking currency and revenue and good times and free exchange of ideas are happening on podcasts, and the FCC one day is going to put a toe in this fucking water, and we're all going to bounce.
Yeah, I don't touch on race I talk about don't be homophobic in my act because I grew up here.
I don't want people to be arachno-homophobic.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of gay
my
spiders.
point is, I don't see color at all. Some of my best
Oh, it's too bad.
some of my best friends are all different races. I never even think about that
But
stuff.
that's showbiz.
I know, but also growing up here in the Bay Area, I was blessed with that. It was, it's every race is right here, and I just don't touch on it.
But that's all. It's not you.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing funny. Like, look, last night I opened the show with the Chinese guy in a $3,000 suit feeding the pigeons. Then he grabbed one and snapped its neck and put it in the fucking bag where the birdseed was and walked out of the park. Like, that happened.
Wow.
So I'm not up there like going like, fucking Chinese people. Like, no, I actually saw a guy in Union Square feeding pigeons.
Yeah.
And then and it was like a businessman.
Do you think it works if you don't use the race? You just saw a man.
But I don't want to not use the race because that's the guy.
I understand.
If it was a white guy, I would explain that guy.
Yeah.
That's hence the exhaustion. I have to paint you have to.
I get it. I'm just asking.
This guy's
you.
wearing an Hermes tie.
Yeah.
This guy's in like a Donna Karan suit, not DKNY, Donna Karan, hoity-toity. That's different. He's wearing Cole Haan shoe. Like, I gotta paint that perfect, cool Asian Elvis hair, a gold Rolex, bling down, and he's feeding fucking pigeons. And he just grabs one, snaps its neck, puts it in the bag, stands up, and walks out of the fucking park.
Wow.
So, but you brought it up earlier about this place being PC. I did a show at Cal once with Nick Swartz in opening. And after the show, the girl go, how come in that story you told, why did the guys all, like, I don't understand why you had to tell us they were black. And I just was like, because they were black. She goes, but if they were white, you wouldn't have said they were white. I go, sweetheart, I grew up in New Jersey, Jersey Shore. Like, the show Jersey Shore was my high school.
Yeah.
Okay? Minus the ocean, because we were by Giant Stadium. It was a bunch of white Guidos and Irish Guidos. So if 4 black guys walk down the street, they're outliers. You go, well, that's kind of weird. Like, we didn't see them.
Right.
There was 2 in the whole fucking school, Jerville Gibbs and Joel Love. I still know their names because it was so rare. And conversely, if you go to, like, Crenshaw High, and me, Dean Delray, Bill Burr, and fucking who else, and Eddie Pepitone walk down the hallway, the next week they're going to be like, remember those 4 fucking white guys showed up at school that day? Like, that's going to stick out in their minds.
Yeah, so, I hear you. I'm just so new at comedy, so I'm always interested. I think that since I don't come from that, I just don't touch it. You know what I mean? It's like,
no, but that's good.
Yeah, I know.
That's not you.
I love to drill people that are homophobic because I just don't get it. Like when people are weird on different stuff. You know, I mean, because it has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, something bothers somebody unless they're robbing me or lighting my house.
It does have something to do with you because it bothers you as a good human.
Right.
It
homophobia. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I hate it, and I do the whole thing in similar hates. And
yeah.
I hate the word homophobia. I think it lessens the pandemic of gay people not getting their just rights. Like if you're a boyfriend and your lover is dying in the hospital, you can't go fucking sit next to his bedside because a piece of paper says you're not his husband because you're not allowed to be married. Like, it's so absurd how we treat gay people. These are just fucking human beings that have fallen in love. And I'm not trying to convert anybody through this podcast.
Not at all.
If you got a thing against fucking gays, ride that horse into the sunset. Just use the Amazon banner. That's our media. Give me your fucking money. You have every right to... Hey, you know what? God hates fags. Well, if you use the Amazon banner, you can say that all you want.
There was a guy that called us on Fox one day. You and I were on. It was when the gay guy was getting drafted in the NFL. And so we were on the radio, so we're tied down. But I never forgot him when I said... you have a problem with that guy? And he said, yeah, he's going to be in the locker room with the other guys. And I said, yeah. And he goes, he had a choice. He actually said the guy had a choice and
as to whether or not to be gay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what gets chipped away slowly but surely. We are marching towards progress.
Yeah, we are.
And I think more and more people realize that your gay aunt, and your cousin that's a gay guy. And I always say, and I said on the radio show, I go, if you know a gay person, ask them when they knew they were gay.
Yeah.
And they're going to tell you about 6 years old.
Well, I'm working on a bit right now.
No 6-year-old goes, I want cock.
I'm working on a bit.
And if he does, that's a progressive 6-year-old. Got a Chris Rock bit. Like, everybody in this room got a gay cousin. He was gay when you were 6. He was gay then. He just didn't have anybody to be gay with.
Chris Rock is great.
He goes, y'all playing football? He's skipping rope.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know that bit. I love it.
Man, he is the best. We are in the era right now. There was a bit of a lull, but right now there are some of the greatest goddamn comics.
It's pretty unbelievable.
But you want to shoot your special at the Fillmore. That's a big-ass room, bro.
I do.
It's Black Crow style.
It's 420, though, seated. It's 1,200 standing, so it's a lot smaller.
I would think you, perfect case scenario, would be like the Brea Improv. And just get a swinging camera and a couple guys with handhelds and do it like that, because it'll, you know, that's...
The reason I want to do the Fillmore is I headline there as a there as a musician, right?
Yeah.
I want to be, and they put your poster up when you sell it out. They put it up on the wall. You know, you have posters in there. I want to be like the first guy, come back home, and I do rock and roll comedy and be a guy that did it as a musician and as a comedian.
Is your poster up there as a musician?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the name of your band?
There's 3 of them up there. No, Dean Delray. And then there's another one up there when I played with George Thorogood. I'll show them to you when we're done.
I thought you were in Jet Boy.
Oh, that was my first band. But I was only in that band for about 6 months, and I left, and then they signed a big record deal. I was like, damn it.
That might be I'm glad you got out just because the name is so stupid.
I like the name. I told you why. The guy worked at SFO. He was a luggage carrier.
You worked at the airport?
Yeah, he worked at the airport.
And what did I say to you? The name of the band should have been Luggage.
Yeah, that's a great man, right?
There is
no luggage.
Huh?
No luggage.
There was
because you can't be famous if you got luggage.
Well, I think you have to be famous. You become famous because of all your luggage.
Okay.
You spend your entire life trying to drop it off curbside, and you just don't realize how much you have.
Too much luggage.
Too much luggage. Great band name. Doug. There was in the Village Voice in the back. All the bands that were playing in Manhattan. Doug Luggage and the Smoking Section.
That's a real band?
Yeah, well, it was in 1988 when I was waiting tables and I was looking at open mics. What are your favorite band names right now? Ever? I got to go Radiohead and Soundgarden 1, 2.
Soundgarden is an incredible fucking band name.
I'm going Soundgarden 1.
That is an incredible band name. I also love the name Led Zeppelin. I love how Keith Moon was like, that band's going to go over like a lead balloon. You know, he named it.
When you played like Galaga in the arcade, did you ever, when you got up on the board, did you put in like Led Zepp when you had to put in your initials?
Always AC/DC on everything. I swear to God, every time high score, AC/DC, Galaga. It was only 3 letters, so.
Yeah, but then you get first place, you put Led.
Yeah,
and so if you got second, you'd put Zepp.
Yeah,
and you're like, fuck, I got to get number 1 to put Led.
I always put DDR, Dean Delray. It's funny because that's how I sign everything, DDR.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, fantastic band name. And the story behind it, of course, as you just said, is
great.
You guys are going to go over like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
Lead balloon, not a good band name.
No, right? Exactly. So that's the genius of it. He says lead balloon, and then the next day they're like, maybe we call it Led Zeppelin. I mean, come on, you know what I mean?
So you agree, Soundgarden's 1 for you?
God, I love that name. I remember
Radiohead. Don't.
I know it's cool, but when
I know you don't dig the new look, I don't like Radiohead. It sounds like robots fucking. I like old Radiohead.
Yeah.
Like, OK Computer was the through the looking glass moment of playing on an Apple computer and doing the sounds and the technology. But then you gotta bring it back to the garage. Like go on YouTube and listen to like John Mayer do Kid A. Go listen to Weezer do Paranoid Android. Like it's rock and roll. They're great songs. Stop fucking it up with sound effects.
Yeah, I hope the new record brings it back. You know, I love.
They just keep going.
I love Fake Plastic Trees. You know,
that's a great song.
Unbelievable, dude.
Get an acoustic guitar and play it.
Unbelievable, dude.
There's a guy on stage playing a computer.
It's funny, we're sitting here in San Fran, and it's like
San Francisco days, San Francisco night.
Like, I just look right over there at the bottom of Coy Tower. There is Broadway, and that is the ground zero for Metallica right there. And over on the other side is Berkeley.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Metallica. That's
unbelievable
up there.
band name.
All right, so we got 3. I don't know how long this list is going to be.
Yeah.
Soundgarden's our number 1 no matter what.
It's pretty fucking good because it's just so cool.
And when you listen to Louder Than Love, you're like, whoa.
Soundgarden.
Nothing
touches that, man.
Radiohead, you're on the fence?
Yeah, it's not my favorite band name.
Okay.
I
don't want to be a list bully.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, Soundgarden, Metallica.
Unbelievable.
That's one of the greatest band names.
That sounds like a great fucking festival too.
Metallica.
Right. AC/DC. I love it. You know why? Because it's just
well, then you gotta love Queen.
Well, I love Queen.
The band name.
I love that band name.
Dinosaur Jr. No?
Nah.
Wow.
That name doesn't do much for me.
It's such a neat name to me.
I tell you, great
Journey.
Journey's a cool band name.
And we're looking at Journey headquarters right now. On the rooftop, we are in Nob Hill in San Francisco.
Grateful Dead.
That's a great band name. I don't even like the Dead.
I love the Dead.
Can I tell you this though?
Yeah.
I've always thought the Dead was the most overrated thing ever on earth ever. Like more than fucking Fig Newtons and Nutella. I
hate Nutella.
Nothing's more overrated than the Grateful Dead ever.
Wow.
One day, I'm driving to the radio show and I go up Beverly Glen because of traffic or I don't know why, and I realize I'm going to be 45 minutes late to my own show. And I am sitting and sitting and sitting. I got to take a shit, like with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I have to piss. I'm pissing in a Starbucks cup. And by the way, if you're wondering how many times you can pee in a Starbucks cup before the bottom falls out, 3.
Is that a Trento or a...
Venti.
Venti.
3.
Whoa.
The lady I was married to, my first son, she wanted more child support. So I had to go to a mediator. And I'm like, fuck.
Is this recently?
No, I offered her double and she declined.
Oh, God.
It's one of those, like, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Greed.
So I'm peeing in a Starbucks cup on my way over Beverly Glen. The other way, different story. And it's like the 5th time I used this cup. And all of a sudden my legs get warm.
Oh, no. You mean it melts out? The bottom melts out?
Yeah, it's all recycled paper.
Oh.
And I had to go into mediation, get this fucking this
piss
person
pants.
With piss pants. But thank God they were dark cheese. I'm like, if anything is more indicative of what's about to happen in my life, is I have fucking piss pants. Hi, here's some more money. You earned it.
Oh, my God.
Private pile. Eat your jelly donut. You earned it. So I'm going up Beverly Glen, and I have to shit. I'm in traffic, and I put on the Grateful Dead channel on Sirius XM.
Love it.
And I'm like, all right, there's nowhere to go. Fuck it. I gotta tell you, I got it. I finally got it.
Wow.
I've always loved Sugar Magnolias.
Yeah.
I like Jane's Addiction's Ripple better than I like the Dead's Ripple.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle John's Band, pretty good. It's okay. Truckin's awesome.
I wanted to call my special Truckin'.
You should.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
And I wanted to use the song, and then I just read the interview with the guy that writes all the lyrics. Is in the new Rolling Stone. Please read that if you guys are into Grateful Dead, because he tells some of the greatest stories. He wrote Truckin', Uncle John's Band, Ripple. He said that Ripple was incredible by Jane's Addiction. His daughter played it. He was like, oh, my God. But he turned down Levi's $1.5 million in 1978 to use Truckin'.
1978?
Yep. He was like,
that's like no, that's like $10 million.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Absolutely. I know. Talk about fucking street cred. Talk about ethics.
And how about Levi being that hip?
Oh, Levi, because they knew right away. Bell bottoms are big, you know what I mean? And it's trucking is that doo-dah, man, which is Keep On Trucking, which is R. Crumb.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to do this whole campaign where it'd be R. Crumb's cartoon moving with bell bottoms. I'm just picturing it as I'm reading the thing in Rolling Stone yesterday. Trucking, the doo-dah, man, with the bells and shit. Levi's, 517 bell bottoms.
Speaking of bells, you hear those bells?
I love it.
Bells and church bells.
Well, you see that church right there? That's where the bells are coming from. And let me tell you, it sounds like it's there, but it sails around this valley. And that church is where, on Dirty Harry, this guy's sniping people off into the park there.
Oh.
That's it right there. He's hitting Washington Park there. He's shooting people. That's the church right there.
I told you we were filming Hereafter. Me and Matt Damon are at a picnic table in Golden Gate Park, and we could see Alcatraz across the bay.
Yeah.
And Clint Eastwood goes, "Whenever you boys are ready." He never says action.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
What does he say?
Whenever you guys are ready.
Whenever you guys are ready.
And he goes, "I'm going to go back to Video Village and We're all set up, so whenever you guys are ready.
Whoa.
And I asked him about it, and he goes, well, nobody says action in everyday life. You guys are ready to play make-believe, and somebody yells action. It seems a little unnatural.
I love
right.
it.
Like, when was the last time in the middle of your day somebody just came up to you and went, action?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, I have to cry.
Yeah.
My son's on his deathbed because he fell off his fucking motorcycle. I'm his dad. I got to fucking sit here. Me and Shirley MacLaine are going to cry. That's my mom. There's this thing. Okay, wow, that's my fucking son. I've convinced myself this person is my actual child. That Shirley MacLaine, make-believe, action! Big fat Jewish guy in the corner with a sandwich in his hand, action!
You know what I'd say if I was a director? I'd be like, light the candles.
But Clint goes, whenever you're ready.
That is so cool.
And what's cool is we were filming at Golden Gate Park, and we could see Alcatraz. And at one point, we exactly looked at each other, Matt Damon and I, at the same time, and went, he was fucking in Alcatraz. And then we just started asking him questions about Alcatraz, like not the movie, because we knew he was encyclopedic about the actual.
I love that movie.
Facility.
Yeah, Frank Morris is the guy's name that escaped.
But why did they close it down? And people like, there's no like.
Oh, well, I'll tell you why they closed it down.
Why?
So they built it.
They were overcrowding in jails.
No, that's not why. The sea air was slowly rotting that away. That's why they were able to carve those holes and get through there. So the
salty air.
The place was falling apart. And they were like, we can't keep these guys here. This whole place is eroding. Of course, it's still there. They do like small maintenance and stuff because it's a tourist attraction. But it was completely eroding. And they were like, we got to build a new prison. Let's don't build it here. We'll build San Quentin. And we'll make a modern prison. It was just
you could fit. Well, maybe they make more money doing tourists.
Oh, God, are you kidding me? After that, though, you remember the Indians took it over, and they had it for, I think, 2 years.
They own, really?
Oh, yeah. They said, this is Indian land. We're taking it, and they moved on to it. And then...
Where people live on that island right now?
No, this was for a couple years, and then the government took it over. But Bob Dylan played a show on there for them, like a fundraiser. And then years later, I was there with Wallflowers, and they played a gig on there.
Wallflowers is a good band name.
That's a great one.
Bad band.
What?
I don't like Wallflowers.
Oh, they're great.
Great band name.
Great records, dude. The first two records are fantastic.
Stone Roses, good band name.
How about, I was thinking another band, Oasis. Love that band name.
It seems like something you and I would think of in high school, though.
I just like it, though, because
like Bugs Bunny had an Oasis.
But when you think about it, if you're playing rock and roll, you're on the ultimate Oasis.
How about the greatest bands of all time, with the exclusion of Led Zeppelin, have the worst name? Like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, the Who's actually pretty good. Those
are such 60s names, like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, the Animals, you know, that kind of like...
Terrible.
It was the thing, yeah, right? The Doors. I like the Doors, but it's like the. Everything's the Beatles, the Doors, the Animals, the Rolling Stones, the Who. You had to have before the band name. You never call them, like even Eagles. I was doing a tweet today.
Jefferson Airplane dropped the. But they were and then they dropped it.
Yeah.
They started as the Jefferson.
That's right,
Airplane.
the Jefferson.
And then they were Jefferson Stars.
The Eagles. It's not just Eagles, right?
Do you like the Eagles?
I love the Eagles.
Why?
Are you out of your mind?
I hate the Eagles.
Hotel California is the soundtrack of this goddamn state. It is the soundtrack of cocaine.
But Glenn Fry, Joe, look,
love
the Eagles... I saw the documentary. We all saw it. It's like one of the greatest rock and roll. No, you're not playing rock and roll. It wasn't until Joe Walsh got dropped.
They're playing country rock.
Yes. When Joe Walsh got dropped into your lap from the comedy gods, that's when rock and roll happened. Because the James Gang is a great name for a band.
That's a great band.
I know what you... We're going to close this episode with James Gang Funk 49.
Taking my time.
Yeah.
Losing my mind.
Keep going.
I got to tell what to do. Wow. Seems to me you don't want to talk about it. Seems to me you just turn your lovely head and walk away. I don't know all the lyrics, but
and it's a threesome.
God, it's so great.
My friend Marty Greenfield, one of my best friends, said back in the day they would just do acid and go to all these shows, and you would just hear the James Gang, the record. And they walked in, and it's 3 dudes on stage, and he said he was with like 8 guys.
Yeah.
And they just kept looking around Fillmore East like, where's the rest of the band?
Yeah, right?
Because they couldn't process that sound was coming from 3 people.
It's like Jimi Hendrix and the Experience.
That was a trio.
Yeah.
The Police.
Rush, the Police.
Nirvana.
Nirvana.
What a fucking sound.
Wow. Wall of sound. That song, I love that one, man. Look at what a great day here.
What song were you just doing?
It's that one.
If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask anyone else first. I'm so naive. I was your first.
So great, right?
Nirvana?
Yeah. I love that song. Yeah.
Out of the ground.
Yeah.
Into the sky. Out of the sky.
So great.
Into the dirt. I got a live bootleg of them in concert. It's called And No One Got Hurt. They did a 9-song set, and they do that song, and at the end he goes, into the dirt. And you've never heard anything so fucking abruptly.
Yeah.
And there's no echo. There's no like, usually it's into the dirt. And you hear like, it's like there was just a kill switch.
Oh, man.
And then the actual ending, the silence, like the 2 seconds after, are what makes me go like, whoo, wow. So let's listen to a little James Gang. Listen to Dean Delray, Let There Be Talk. And
I love you, dude. Thanks for having me on again. And all the Mohrs I can't believe how great these people are that you have.
Where should Dean film his special? I think Irvine or Brea is the way to go for you, dude.
Man, dude, I'm telling you, it's a rock show.
Yeah, but the film, you just said it's hard to... Do you really want to sweat out tickets?
Oh, no, I got that covered.
Well, then never mind then.
I'm not worried about that. You know? I just want the...
Feels killer.
I just want rock and rollers to show up.
Put your name on it.
Does shaving irritate your skin, give you nick, bumps, razor burn? You probably blamed your razor all these years, and you thought upgrading the razor all these years with the latest gimmicks and technology would make your problems go away. Upgrading your razor usually costs more money and made you feel ripped off, and your face still hurt. You know what you need? Cremo. Cremo. Shaving gels and foams are mostly air. Air is not a lubricant. This can cause irritation and discomfort. Cremo is an impossibly slick, foam-free shave. Comes in a tube, not a can. Almost any razor will glide effortlessly and comfortably over your sensitive skin with virtually no bumps, burn, or irritation. Don't waste any more money. Get yourself some Cremo at Walmart, Target, Walgreens, CVS, Pharmacy, Red Cap, White Tube, Cremo!
A few days ago, Brooke Tudine posted an inspirational quote on her wall that got 17 likes and 3 comments. Thumbs up, Brooke. Geico also wants to make a comment. In just 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance by switching to Geico. And nothing says inspiration better than saving money. Well, except for those posters that say things like teamwork, excellence, and make it happen. Hashtag keep climbing. Hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want to battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
All right, we're rolling.
Yeah, this is Mohr Stories. That's right. And Dean Delray, the rocker.
And they hear me on the radio and stuff, so they kind of know who I am, so it's cool, right?
Yeah, but your act, when you're just doing the Comedy Store, I'm sure you do. When there's a lineup of 8 people at the Comedy Store, I'm guessing you probably kill the hardest.
No way.
Really?
Dude, you know who goes on?
No.
Oh, my God, dude. You have
I don't leave you know me, man.
I know. You
can't believe I'm here now.
I know, right? I can't believe, yeah. First of all,
I am like
let's describe.
Greta Garbo. I never leave my home.
I know, it's crazy because I
a recluse.
I said, you got to get over to my room. It has a view that'll fucking knock you out, man. This is panoramic views. And you almost didn't make it. And now you're here and you're like, holy shit, this is great.
Let's just do it in the green room after the shows, man. The energy will still be there from the live shows. And Dean Delray was like, no, you don't understand. And I'll tweet out a photo of this so you guys can enjoy what the hell we're looking at. It's insane. But the reason when we first hooked up, it was because you had done 2,000 shows in 4 years, thereabouts.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, has your workload less? Because I've known you 2 years now.
Yeah.
Has your workload lessened? Because now you're opening for that's a trolley car you hear in the background.
Yeah, isn't that great?
That's legit, man. That's legit.
Trolley car.
To beware little trolley cars.
I love those things.
Halfway to the stars.
Aren't those cars cool, man?
I love them.
They're old, and they work still.
Has your workload lessened? Because now, people that don't know, at Dean Delray on Twitter, you also open for Bill Burr and Russell Peters regularly. There's an old expression, I say it on the podcast all the time on Mohr Stories. Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. And if you're rolling with Bill Burr and Russell Peters, apparently you're legit, bro.
Yeah, and you?
Well, I would sound like a douche if I'm like, look, man, you're hanging out with me. First of all, you're hanging out with me.
My workload has not lessened. Here's the thing. So the first year I did 298 or something. Second year was like 536. The third year,
only 365 days.
I know.
Year.
Third year is like 558. Fourth year, the candles of rock. All right, light the candles of rock.
Dean Delray and I are in San Francisco doing Cobb's Comedy Club. By the time you listen to this, there will be many, many people that have already seen our stand-up comedy in the city by the bay, and they're taking those good vibes, that energy with them, and it's just like a campsite fire, and the embers are burning still. However, you can see Dean at the Comedy Store all the time. He's my guest on Mohr Stories. We are actually on a rooftop in San Francisco. There's that's the Bay Bridge right there.
That's the Bay Bridge. That's the new Bay Bridge. You see the tip out there behind Treasure Island?
That's the new Bay Bridge.
That's the new part there.
You ain't even down.
Yeah, and then the old parts there that
I love when you come over the Bay Bridge. There's that weird little Coast Guard station right at the bottom.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
where you
best.
pay.
That's the best. No, it's after. It's at the end of the other side. I say to my wife every time, that's probably the actual best job on earth. To be in the Coast Guard, because you know how to either fly a helicopter or repel out of a helicopter, and you could swim to Catalina and back. It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer, man! Ow! And you're stationed in San Francisco. But great job all weekend long on the shows, Dino.
Thank you.
You're no opener. I love it. I love going on stage after a guy that gets a crazy round of applause. Your applause on stage is so big that you have to actually, usually, all right, for the listener, usually an opening act will go, hey, that's my time, thanks a lot, and everybody claps, and the guy will go, all right, you guys ready for your headliner? You've seen him, and you actually have to go, all right, that's my time, thanks a lot, and they go crazy. You have to wait for that to end, and you say, are you guys ready for the guy you're here? You have to wait for that applause to stop, because it's not my applause. Yeah, that's what I love, is you're getting your own separate thing.
You got to look at it this way, though. The way I look at it is, without your crowd or the headliners that I open for that have an incredible crowd, without that, it doesn't matter, right? Your crowd is fantastic. They like music, because you talk a lot of music. And
I do walk in, in the first 10 minutes. It's exactly what you said. That Louis said, it's all right, now start weaving. Where's your basket?
Yeah.
What can you
right?
do? And, by the way, if you want to help the podcast, Mohr Stories, and Dean has a great podcast at Dean Delray. It's
Let There Be Talk.
Let There Be Talk. And I was on it, and we had a great time. It's funny, because every time I'm on your podcast, we talk about stand-up comedy, and every time you're on my podcast, we talk about rock and roll. But if you want to help more stories, the absolute best way you could help more stories is to use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. And my website's pretty good. Like, there's a lot of content. You can watch a lot of clips from my Showtime specials. You can listen to this right now. But if there's an Amazon banner, instead of going to Amazon, basically, I'll make it quick. It's easy. Amazon just wants to know you got there through my website. So you go to jmohr.com, click the Amazon banner, and if you email me what you bought, I will read it on the podcast. I don't have a computer with me because I'm on a rooftop garden with my friend Dean Delray. We seem very fancy. But, yeah, like, I always close with walking because I know, A, it's going to, like, you know, when you listen to music on an equalizer or something, like when the red and yellow, green lights, like, shoot up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like on those old stereos.
Yeah, the graphic EQs.
Like, I know I'm going to get that red if I close with walking. So I know that. I got that in my holster. And I always explain comedy to people. They go like, do you know what you're going to do? And I know what I'm going to do because I know what I have in my head. It was about 4 hours of stand-up. And it's like being a giant switchboard operator. Those old switchboards where they plug in the calls. Yeah. And I know my last row is Tracy Morgan, Christopher Walken, Al Pacino, Clint Eastwood, and I know I have that.
Yeah.
As no matter if all else fails, I'll just plug in those phone calls and I'm fucking good. And they're like, that was a good show.
Yeah.
So I like to do what you just said and do it. But you talk about the fact that you're doing this bit, and I hate to walk you into bits like Z Morning Radio, but it is such a great bit about
532 something, and then this last year is 482. I'm trying to hit 500 every year. I'm already at 89 for this year.
And, oh wow, we're recording this March 15th, 14th.
March 14th. My mom's birthday tomorrow. I love you. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Delray. You raised a hell of a son.
Yeah.
Now, your comedy, you used to always close with Nuts to Butts.
Yep.
And it was a big, like, rock and roll number, and people go crazy, and you do, like, an actual Rose voice, and it's great. And what I love, you've been opening with me long enough that, like, over the last year, I've seen, all of a sudden one night, Nuts to Butts comes in, like, at the 10-minute mark, and I'm like, whoa, now I got to watch and see what he closes. Like, how's he going to top that?
Yeah.
And don't you think, as a comic, that's, like, the most liberating, scary, but also freeing thing when you can take your closing bit and reshuffle the deck and just go, no, fuck that. 8 minutes in, I'm doing my closer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you better build a real good pair of wings to land this airplane, dude.
Well, I wanted to do the Louis C.K. thing where he said, I open with my closer. You know, he decided to do that at one point to where it was like, all right, now what do you got, bitch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So about 2 months ago, I headlined at the La Jolla Comedy Store a whole weekend, and I go, you know what? I'm going to open with Nuts to Butts. And it was actually scary as shit because you have these parachutes as a new comedian that you know, okay, this stuff in the middle might not be as strong as Nuts to Butts, but I know when I close with Nuts to Butts, they'll remember that. But instead I was like, nah, I gotta fucking take it on, right?
Yeah, I guess for me, the translation would be the walking. Like, if I just don't do walking, I know I'm going to get a crazy response. Like, I do an hour and a half sometimes. And when you get to about the 40, 45-minute mark, the crowd kind of starts going, is he going to get out of here without doing walking? Like, I can feel them kind of get uptight. And sometimes I don't do any impressions. I just bounce. But when I walk